What is going on, everybody? John Matrix here, coming at you with some more SCP goodness. We're checking out another video by the Exploring series, SCP-1762, Where the Dragons Went. This is one I've been actually looking forward to for a while. You know, I'm just curious to see what kind of story and lore, I guess, the dragons have in the SCP universe, and what explanation there is to what happened to them, if it's what I'm thinking of. It could be something completely different and they're just calling them dragons, you know, I don't know. But I'm interested in this one. You know, growing up, being a Godzilla fan, kaiju fan, I'm always interested in stuff like this. So looking forward to jumping into this one and seeing where this goes. As always, links will be down below in the info section, description, whatever you want to call it, to the original video and channel. So if you want to, you can click the links down below. Go check out the Exploring series channel and this video. Give it a like, give him a sub if you would like to. Guy makes a lot of great content. As well as all that, there is a join button down below this video. If you would like to, as you can see, we're doing this reaction live from our YouTube members. So if you want to join in the discussions that we have before, during, after these videos, there's also a Discord that's open to everyone and some other benefits. Check out that stuff, see if they have any interest to you, if you'd like to take your support to the next level. But regardless, I just appreciate you guys coming in here, hanging out and watching the video. So with all that said, we're just gonna jump on into it here. Boop, volume's good, let's go.
SCP-1762, Where the Dragons Went. Fantasy is one of our most pervasive fictional genres, as it has integrated itself into movies, video games, books, comics, and any other medium of entertainment. For thousands of years, people have enjoyed telling tales of fantastical worlds and mythical creatures, entertaining and amusing one another with things beyond our own existence. Although we often write off any sort of belief in fantasy to the whimsies of children, the eccentric, or of ancient unenlightened civilizations, SCP-1762 is about belief in the fantastical. 1762 is one of the sadder articles on the site, as it shows a tragedy that the Foundation was helpless to prevent, and ultimately a loss of innocence.
Interesting.
SCP-1762 is a small cardboard box, spray-painted silver on the outside and inside, with the words, "Here be dragons," written on the side of it with a black marker. The box is normally empty, but occasionally will open by itself, billowing out a large amount of black smoke. During this period, a number of small animate creatures will emerge from the box, ranging from 50 to over 400. These creatures resemble dragons, both Eastern and Western designs, but are made from origami paper in forms similar to origami models.
Interesting.
They are each capable of flight, reaching speeds up to 15 kilometers per hour, and will fly around in groups, interacting playfully with each other and anyone nearby. After 2 to 3 hours, the dragons will fly back into the box, which emits smoke once again, ending with the box closing itself. Occasionally, at this point, a message will appear on top of the box, but the Foundation has been unsuccessful in transmitting any messages to the box or its denizens.
Almost kind of sounds like an old, I don't know how other to put it than like a carnival show trick or something like that, you know, like, but it's interesting. They're all made of origami, and like they take flight, they come to life. So like, yeah, it almost seems like someone had created, maybe the box itself is, like you said, the anomaly, and whatever origami shapes they put in there, when they open them up, they come to life for a certain amount of time, and then they come back after they do whatever, and then you know, they go inanimate for a period of time to recharge or something. But interesting. And it's also interesting that they're all only dragons and not other kind of life, though. That's the one thing that is very interesting.
1762 entered Foundation custody sometime around 2004, and when the box first opened itself, a message was left on top of it. I think it's best if I simply read some of these messages in their entirety. The first message read, "You have found us. Thank you.
Hmm.
It has been so long since we last saw each other, friends. The peace has been upheld. The giants and behemoths have kept their word, and have not caused any trouble since you last came and gave the order. We missed your company. How has your family been? Do you still know how to work your room?
What?
You are welcome to visit any time."
Yeah, it almost kind of goes along with what I was saying. It almost kind of seems like it's like a toy box or something like that for people, and like, I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. So there's different messages that say the peace has been upheld, the giants and behemoths haven't, broken their side of the bargain, etc., etc. Huh. Interesting.
Clearly, the message is addressed to someone other than the Foundation,
Right.
as the Foundation has no idea how to respond, and there's no details as to who the previous owner of the box was.
I wonder if it had something to do with the Bigfoot species, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, the Bigfoot species was, a more sentient and advanced race, supposedly in the SCP universe, than we were for a long time. They were the original, I guess, kind of like apex race, before whatever happened to them and we wiped them out, or someone or something wiped them out. And, so maybe this is something that's left over from them, and this is some kind of treaty or accord that they had with giants and behemoths, because I guess it's also, from what I understand, rumored that a fairy may have interfered and aligned with humans and drove humans or gave humans the technology to destroy the Bigfoot species or something like that. So maybe this is something that was left over from them, and this was like meant to be something with them and some kind of an alliance they made with other, mythological creatures from other universes or something like that. I don't know. Interesting. Because what else could it really be, right? Unless, I guess it could be addressed to some other particular person, or maybe some other kind of particular god or being or entity or whatever, and, the SCP just found it. I don't know. Interesting, though. Very fascinating.
To respond, and there's no details as to who the previous owner of the box was. The second message the box sent read, "It's strange to see how much your world has changed. It is even stranger to see how we now appear in this place. In fantasy, we are much bigger. Or maybe you've grown taller. Fantasy is still the same. We hope you can visit us like you used to. Though our room is as grand as ever, it appears yours has shrunken. We do not understand. The rooms were supposed to be maintained, as was our agreement. Please restore the belief." It would seem that the denizens of the box hail from another world, or dimension, they call fantasy, and the forms we see come out of the box are not their true forms. Also, there are apparently 2 rooms, through which interactions between the 2 worlds were done, and although theirs is grand, ours is shrunken, much like their form. They tell the
So I guess that would potentially mean that whatever room the box is opened in could have some kind of effect on what kind of form they could take, which is why they're smaller in origami and not necessarily grander, reptilian like flying dragon creatures. I don't know. And I wonder what the room is supposed to be. Maybe it's like if they was opened up, like actually in the world itself, like out in the open, would they be like normal dragons? I don't know. Interesting. I'll give the video its time before I show my theories, but it definitely have some. The box is the room. Gotcha.
The Foundation to restore the belief, but without further details and with no way to return communications, the Foundation leaves the box to sit. Sometime later, the box opens, but only 20 creatures come out, and do not fly around. The message on the box read, "Friends, we apologize for our few numbers. We have had to remain in fantasy for quite some time. The others are growing impatient. We are trying to keep the peace, but please, for all of our happiness, repair the room quickly. We know you are trying. Your family is the most imaginative of us all. At this point, we're left with far more questions than answers.
I mean, yeah.
Such as, who are the others? What is the room? And what exactly do they mean by our family? Unfortunately, things get worse from here. Some more time passes, until the box opens and only 10 creatures come out, along with 3 balls of yellow, crumpled construction paper. These balls shook violently for a few seconds before stopping, and the creatures picked them up and put them back in the box. The message read, "The giants were foolish. Your room was not ready to accept them yet. We're sorry, friends. We hope that we can still see you, but time is growing short for our happiness." Apparently, those 3 balls were giants of some kind, but they were unable to manifest in our world for some reason. Things begin to sound dire. The next time, only 5 creatures emerge, carrying a document with them. They leave it on the floor and return to the box. The document reads, "Tensions are rising. Fantasy is becoming darker. We, the serpents and the hybrids, are furiously trying to hold them back, but the giants and elves wish to strike and make an entrance. They say..."
I wonder if it's almost kind of like a never-ending story thing, where it's like humanity's imagination is what's keeping them alive, you know, and their belief in these things. And so, like, as time is going by, less and less of humanity, you know, and our imagination is going away as technology and all that kind of stuff is progressing. We're not quite as imaginative and don't necessarily believe in, you know, giants and elves and things like that. And so that is essentially affecting their realities. That's why they're saying, you know, we are the most imaginative, you know, our family is the most imaginative of everyone. So, like, maybe our imagination is what's keeping fantasy alive and running, you know, their worlds. So, interesting.
"But the giants and elves wish to strike and make an entrance. They say that your family has grown stupid and ignorant. We hope this untrue. It would sadden us all greatly to know that you have forgot." We get mentions of a couple new entities, hybrids and elves, and it seems the giants and elves are far more aggressive than the dragons and hybrids. Their world is growing darker, tensions are rising, and it all seems to be because of us, although the Foundation still has no idea what exactly is happening and how to fix it. Next, a single crumpled dragon emerges from the box, with torn wings, and it collapses on the floor after only a minute, at which point it rapidly unfolded, with 3 words written on it. "War. Goodbye, friends." 2 hours later, the box opened and flames erupted out of it, with sounds of distant roaring being heard. Large amounts of torn paper and crumpled balls were ejected from the box, along with some damaged paper dragons that were quickly considered to be deceased. This continues for 6 weeks, until the amount of paper emitted from the box started to decrease, and eventually stopped. The box then remained closed and inactive for 7 months. At that time, another document was found inside the box, stained with blood, reading, "Are you still out there, friends? We miss you dearly. Fantasy is no longer safe. Our haven, your beautiful creation, is gone. The giants are dead. The centaurs are dead. The birds have fled. We are going to bury your room. We cannot risk hurting you. This is our goodbye. Maybe one day your family can build another room. This may be a hollow hope, but we will cherish this thought. Apparently, we are responsible for creating their haven somehow, but now it's gone, along with the giants, centaurs, and birds. It's still entirely unclear what happened to their world, but they're going to bury their room that connects to ours, so that whatever went to war with them can't hurt us. They hold out hope that one day we will restore the connection to their world. 1 hour after this message was found, the box began to shake and emit smoke, followed by it collapsing with small burn holes throughout.
Interesting.
The words, "Here be dragons," were burned away. Sometime later, one final message was produced by the box, written on a scroll showing a mountainous landscape with a single winged dragon flying away. The message reads, "Master says that we won't see you again. We are sad. So are the remaining others. We once filled each other's heads with dreams and goals. It is so sad that we cannot share them any longer. Master says we have to go. He says that he will make us a new fantasy. He says you cannot be a part of it. We are sad. We love you. We will not forget you. We are scared. Will you forget us?" After removal of this document, the box began to leak salt water, and it quickly restored itself to its original condition, although the words on it now read, "Here were dragons."
Interesting.
After some time passed with no further activity, SCP-1762 was declared neutralized, and was kept in a researcher's office for commemorative purposes. 8 years go by with no activity, until suddenly the box began emitting purple smoke, dislodging a single purple crystal and a leather-bound book. The book is titled Beasts of the Old Letters, and appears to be written by an explorer that observed the other world both before and after the war, although they are not sure what happened either. The book details a large number of the inhabitants of the other world, such as the Alafox, a two-headed bird with rainbow feathers, or the Note people of the eastern plains of Darius, made of living music.
Interesting.
After expelling the book and the crystal, the box emitted smoke for 40 minutes, before finally crumbling to dust. The crystal had the words, "One last time," carved into it. At this point, you might or might not need an explanation for SCP-1762, but I'll provide one either way. Centuries before the events described in this video, a connection was made between the world of fantasy and our world, back when belief and acceptance of the fantastical was much stronger.
Yeah, that's what I think it goes along with what I was saying earlier. It seems like at one point in time, humanity's belief in, dragons and magic and giants and fairies and creatures of that nature, and maybe even, it came something from like the Bigfoot species as well. Like I said, perhaps even something along the lines with them. I don't know. But, back before when humans still had more belief in a lot of mystery and fantasy and mythological creatures and believed that they were actually real, somehow we manifested a connection to this world called fantasy where all these things became real. And I guess we somehow had some kind of connection with dragons and these things, and there was some kind of peace that was upheld. But as we became more technologically advanced, more than likely we lost a lot of those ideas and beliefs about fantasy and these things, and so the world began to collapse. Almost kind of like I said, similar to what I remember. I haven't seen the movie since I was a little kid, but the Never-Ending Story, where the world of Fantasia, I think, was crumbling away because people were losing imagination and their beliefs, and had to be the universe had to be reset and recreated with someone's imagination. So almost kind of seems like that's going on here. So anyway, let's continue.
2 grand rooms were constructed to function as a bridge between the worlds, and both sides could freely interact with the other through them. As time passed, however, humanity's belief in things like dragons, giants, and elves passed from fact into fiction. The form of our room and the creatures that passed through it changed to reflect our failing belief and became paper thin. The room shrunk down to a humble cardboard box, and the dragons showed up in our world as nothing more than origami figures. It seems our lack of belief began to directly impact their world, and things began to crumble. Despite this, however, their room never changed.
Their belief in us never
Lost
changed.
their belief in us.
Yeah.
People come to the SCP universe in many different ways, and for many different reasons. Some enjoy the dark homages to Lovecraft and cosmic horror. Others find it through survival horror video games. And some enjoy the more lighthearted and comedic side of SCP. It's likely that not many discover the SCP Wiki because of its touching, emotional articles, but they exist nonetheless. Although the SCP Foundation was ultimately ineffectual in doing anything about the fate of SCP-1762, as they can't change the world into believing in fantasy, maybe a time will eventually come when the dragons come back.
Fantasy is hardly an escape from reality. It is a way of understanding it. Lloyd Alexander. Alright. This is a good little video. This is a sad little video, honestly, but it was a good one. I like that. And yeah, I feel like that really is the case. It's just as humanity has grown and gotten kind of more and technologically advanced, and I guess the world has gotten smaller, you know, our belief in dragons and giants and, you know, these fantasy creatures has diminished, and thus, you know, their world of fantasy, which I seemingly would assume is created by us to begin with, you know, diminished. The one thing that I'm curious about is the message where he says, you know, Master says we have to leave. Master's going to create another world for us. What's that about? Who is the Master? And then there is, you know, a book that was essentially created that chronicled the time before, during, and after whatever this war was that changed their world and universe. So maybe it again is a reference to the Neverending Story again. You know, maybe that is where that kind of like came from. The idea that, you know, if you read this book and let your imagination run wild, you could essentially rekindle, you know, their universe of fantasy. So interesting story, but honestly a sad story too, because the idea that we've lost belief in them, but our world is still around because they never lost belief in us. That's kind of sad. Kind of sad and depressing. But a good little video nonetheless. Good little video nonetheless. I like little stories like that. So, but yeah, great little video. Great little video. So as always, links will be down below in the description for this original video in the Exploring Series channel. So if you want to go over there and check that out without my interaction and commentary, feel free to do so. I would appreciate it if you did. If you enjoyed this video watching along with me, go over there and give it a like. Maybe give the man a sub if you want to give him some support. There's a lot of great content. And yeah, we're doing this live for my YouTube members. So if you would like to join in the discussions that we have, feel free to click the join button down below this video. Check out the YouTube membership tiers. See if anything I offer has any interest to you, if you decide you want to take your support to the next level. But I just appreciate you guys coming in here and watching the video regardless. If you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and it helps the channel grow. And we greatly appreciate it. But regardless of all that, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having yourself a wonderful day whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you guys on the next one.